Pandit? Name of that Pandit? Anyone? Anyone? You can remember? You can remember? Sorry? Sorry?
Is it a tough one?
Is it?
Is it a tough
What
one?
do you say?
Is
So,
it? What do you
okay,
say?
so it's okay. It's not a tough question. It's not a tough
Sorry?
question. Sorry? Oh, okay, okay, ठीक है. Oh, okay,
No
okay,
problem,
ठीक
no
है, ठीक
problem.
है. हाँ जी?
No problem, no problem.
हाँ जी? Yeah, perfect. So that Pandit's
perfect.
name was Kirparam.
So that Pandit's name was Kirparam.
Sanjeev, what's interesting
Sanjeev,
about Kirparam?
what's interesting about
and
Kirparam
you
is-
most of
and-
you
and
think,
I bet
"Oh,
you most of you
that
think,
one. Oh, I knew that one.
So who just had a little moment then?
Who just had a little moment then just thought,
You
oh,
had a little oh yeah moment. You had a little oh yeah.
and I know it. Sometimes you can go.
And I know
blank
it.
with
Sometimes you can go
when the
blank.
questions are asked in this
when
way.
the questions are
So
asked in
Sanjeev,
this way.
his name was
Sanjeev,
Kirparam.
his name was
But what's
Kirparam.
interesting about
But
Kirparam
what's
is,
interesting
I think
about
which we
Kirparam
can
is,
all
I
take
think
something
which
away
we
from
all
this
take
is
something
that
away from this is that
that's not the first time.
That's not the first time
He came
and saw and had darshan of Guru Tegh Bahadur.
of Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. So you know how we often talk
planting
about
seeds.
planting seeds
And those seeds and certain
and
actions
those
that we
seeds
do
and
in our
certain
life.
actions that we do in our
Guru
life.
Sahib Ji say that they
Guru
don't
Sahib
go
Ji
to
say
waste.
that they don't go to waste.
And Guru Sahib Ji says that.
And Guru
There's a
Sahib Ji
beautiful
says
line
that.
by Guru
There's a
Arjan Dev
beautiful
Ji where
line
they
by
say
Guru
that
Arjan Dev
Patit
Ji where they
Pavan,
say that Patit
har
Pavan,
bird sadaye,
har bird sadaye,
til nahi,
ek til nahi,
panne,
kaale. So when we look at that line, Guru Arjan Dev Ji saying to us,
Arjan Dev Ji saying
this
to
is
us
the
that
nature of Waheguru.
this is the nature of
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ
Waheguru.
ਸੁਭਾਅ ਦੱਸਿਆ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਸੁਭਾਅ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਇੱਥੇ ਗੁਰੂ
ਕਹਿੰਦੇ
ਅਰਜਨ
ਜਿਹੜੇ
ਦੇਵ ਜੀ
ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਨੇ
ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪਤਿਤ
those
that
the word patit.
the
What
word
does the word
patit
patit mean?
what does the
That's
word
a nice
patit
easy
mean?
one.
That's a
Yes.
nice easy one. Yes, that's a nice easy one. That's a nice easy
Go on.
one. Go on.
Sinners.
Yeah.
So all
Sinners.
you have to do is match up some
all
of
you
these
have to do
words.
is
That'll
match
be
up
nice
some of
and
these
easy.
words. That would be
Okay.
nice and easy.
So the word
Okay.
patit comes from the
So
word
the word
pat.
patit comes from the word pat.
ਭਾਵ ਜਿਹਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਪੱਤ
ਭਾਵ ਜਿਹਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਪੱਤ
ਗਵਾ
ਰੋਲ
ਲਈ
ਲਈ।
ਗਵਾ ਲਈ
Patit means somebody
Patit
that
means
has
somebody that has
completely blemished their honor,
and
somebody that has
and
gone away from
somebody that has gone
living
away
righteously.
from living right.
But Guru Sahib Ji said the
But Guru
nature of
Sahib Ji said
Waheguru is
the
that
nature of
Waheguru
is that patit
is to purify those.
is to purify
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ
those.
ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਲਾਗੇ ਜਾਂਦਾ
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ
ਜਿਹੜਾ
ਗੁਰੂ
ਵੀ
ਦੇ ਲਾਗੇ ਜਾਂਦਾ
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਲਾਗੇ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਆ
that Waheguru
that
takes those
Waheguru
patit,
takes those
and
patit
takes those and starts to
cleanse them.
start to cleanse them.
ਪਾਵਨ ਹਾਰ
So patit pavan
ਬਿਰਦ
har
ਸਦਾਏ
bird
So
sadaye.
now another one.
So
Let's see
now
if you can
another
find
one. Let's see if you
at
can
the translation
find
which
at the
word
translation
matches with
which
bird.
word matches with bird.
Wants to have a go with that. Wants to have a go
So
with
which
that.
word out of the
Which
translation matches
Word
up
out of
with
the
bird?
translation matches up with bird. The idea? The idea? See if you can work it out. See if you can work it out. You wanna try and work it out? You wanna try
So
and
you
work
got
it out?
bird and which
So you got
which
bird
what does
and
that
which-
translate
which-
to? What does that translate to?
The idea? The idea?
Yeah, so bird is subah,
Yeah, so
and
bird
in
is
here in the
subah,
translation,
and
it's
in
the
here
two
in the
words
translation,
natural
it's
way.
the two words
Bird means
natural way.
nature. Bird means nature.
It's saying that God's nature
It's
is
saying
such
that God's
that
nature
if somebody's
is such
a
that
if somebody's a patit,
somebody's lost their way.
somebody's lost their
that-
way,
That when you're getting closer to God,
when you're getting
God's
closer
gonna
to
cleanse
God, God's going to
har
cleanse
bird sadaye, har bird sadaye,
and ek til nahi
and
panne
ek
kaale.
til nahi panne
That
kaale.
not even a little
That
till,
not even
till
a little
is
till,
a little
a till
iota
is a
or a
little
little
iota
sesame
or a little
seed.
sesame
Panne
seed
will
smash,
panne will
mean
smash.
Waheguru
Mean
does not overlook
Waheguru does not overlook
anything
positive
that you have done in
positive
your life.
that you have done in
Any
your
righteous
life.
seed that you
Any
have
righteous
sown,
seed that you have
God
sown,
doesn't overlook it.
God
It's
doesn't
accounted
overlook
for.
it. It's accounted
So
for.
how does that now match?
So how does
And
that
how
now
can we
match?
learn from that?
And how
If we
can
look at
we
the
learn
Pandit
from that? If we look at the
Kirparam,
Pandit Kirparam,
how was it that he was
how
able
was
to
it
come
that
to
he
Guru
was
Tegh
able to come
Bahadur
to
ji
Guru Tegh
and
Bahadur
ask
ji
for help?
and ask
So when we
for
say
help?
the Kashmiri
So when we
Pandit
say
Aya,
the Kashmiri
and then
Pandit
they
Aya,
asked for
and
help
then
from Guru
they
Tegh
asked for
Bahadur ji
help from
because
Guru Tegh
they were
Bahadur ji
all being
because
forcefully,
they were all being forcefully
they've been converted to
they've been
Islam.
converted to Islam.
They've been told to give up their faith.
They've been told to give up their faith.
And Sangat Kirparam was
And
actually
Sangat
Guru Gobind
Kirparam
Singh Ji's
was actually
Sanskrit
Guru
teacher.
Gobind Singh Ji's Sanskrit teacher.
Guru Gobind Singh Ji, when they were young, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿਰਪਾਰਾਮ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਜਦੋਂ ਛੋਟੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, I know ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਹੱਲੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਹੀ ਸੀਗੇ, ਉਮਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ 9 ਸਾਲ ਸੀ ਹੱਲੇ, right? So Guru Gobind Singh Ji, I just said it, All you have to do now is translate that into English. So Guru Gobind Singh Ji at that point was how old? 9 years old. But when they were younger, Jado Guru Gobind Singh Ji, when they were about 5, 6 years old, they used to learn Sanskrit from Kirpa Ram. That was their Sanskrit teacher. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji talk about that themselves in their own Bani. So does anybody know what that Bani is called? Where Guru Gobind Singh Ji talk about themselves. So do you know that Guru Gobind Singh Ji has written an autobiography? Sorry? Where they specifically ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਚਪਨਾ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਜਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜੰਗਾਂ ਲੜੀਆਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਆ ਹਾਂ ਬਚਿੱਤਰ ਨਾਟਕ. So in Bachittar Natak, Guru Gobind Singh Ji says that Patna Shahar Bikhe Pavalayo. And then so if we just take that out, then we can all follow that. Guru Gobind Singh Ji talk about their childhood, where they say that Patna Shahar Bikhe Pavalayo. They said, I was born in Patna in Bihar, and then this is Mother Des Hamko Le Aaye. So this is Guru Gobind Singh Ji in their own words telling us about their own life. So who's familiar and who's read some of this Bachittar Natak? Who's come across this before? Who's gone through this Bani? Okay, some of you. So how amazing is this? Because we read other historical accounts that have been written later on, but this is Guru Gobind Singh Ji writing about their own life. So they said, ke Madar Desh hamko le aaye. Then they said, I was brought then to Punjab, Guru Gobind Singh Ji said. And that was at the age, how old were they when they came to Punjab? Shout it out. Oh my God. Don't argue. How old do you think Guru Gobind Singh Ji were when they came to Punjab? From Bihar? From Patna? Yeah, they were about 5, 6 years old. They left when they were about 5, and it took about a year to get there whilst traveling. They visited many different places. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ ਸਾਲ ਕ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ 5 ਸਾਲ ਦੀ ਉਮਰ ਸੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਪਟਨਾ ਛੱਡਿਆ ਤਾਂ 6 ਸਾਲ ਦੀ ਉਮਰ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਸੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਆਏ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਨੰਦਪੁਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਆ. Does anybody know what Anandpur Sahib was originally named by Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji? ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਕੀ ਸੀ ਨਾਮ ਅਨੰਦਪੁਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਜੋ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਜੀ ਨੇ when they established it? Anybody know? Gursimran, you should have sat at the front. I could have picked on you more. You're trying to hide there. That's cheating. It was called Hanji Chak Nanaki. It was first Anandpur Sahib was called Chak Nanaki, named after Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's mother. Their wife was Mata Gujri, their mother was Nanaki. So ek ta bebe Nanaki hui na, फिर apne Mata Nanaki. So Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's mother's name was Nanaki as well. So Mata Nanaki Ji. And then they said that Pant Dayan Dulrai. This is so beautiful because they're explaining themselves. They said that Pant means in various ways. That's what Pant means. Pant, Dayan is basically nannies. So Guru Gobind Singh Ji had quite a royal upbringing. They said that had various different nannies, and they all Dularai means that they brought me up in all these different ways. And then they go on to say, Kini Anakapant Tan Racha, that they took care of my body, Guru Gobind Singh Ji saying. And then Dini Pant Ki Sicha. They said also in Punjab, they said I received many different forms of Sicha, meaning of education. And a part of that was Kirpa Ram, that Pandit who was then the chief leading all the other Pandits. Principal Satbir Singh writes that there was 16 predominant Pandits who had come together to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji at that time. So when they start to tell their dukh, their pain to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, but look, Kirpa Ram had that connection. He had planted those seeds. He had actually taught Guru Gobind Singh Ji when they were 5, 6 years old Sanskrit. So now when he comes back, he's already got that connection. And now when he's asking Guru Gobind Singh Ji Patsha Ji for help, he had already built that relationship. So Sangat Ji, it's so important for us as well to somehow or another in our lives to know for us that our actions are not going to go empty, even if they're from our last previous lives, even if they're from our younger days. That time when you would have sat down and read your Japji Sahib, that time that you would have spent doing Kirtan, that doesn't go to waste. It's something that will always hold on to you, and even if you drift away, it will bring you back. So, Sangat, if we look at a Pankti, where Guru Sahib Ji says that, Purva Karam, Ankur Jab Pargate, Petyo Purkh Rasak Bairagi. That's such a beautiful line this is, where Guru Sahib Ji says that, if Purva Karam Ankur Jab Pargate, Pankti guy is a bit slow, but I'm sure he'll get trained as, you know, he'll get there, you know. Sanji, sometimes we think that we're doing something and what's the point? Are we wasting our time? We question ourselves. We question ourselves sometimes when we sit down and do, maybe we're sitting down and saying Vaheguru and sitting down and doing some Simran, doing some Kirtan. But none of that ever goes to waste. It doesn't go to waste to that extent. Look, he taught Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sanskrit and he's come back today to ask for help. But this is such a beautiful line where Guru Sahib Ji say that Purva Karam, even from your past, meaning when you was younger, many, many years ago, or even from your past lives, that certain karam, certain actions that you did, those righteous actions that you done, Guru Sahib Ji says that sometimes it might seem like that it went to waste. And now that you've disconnected, you've drifted away. Sometimes it might be that you've done a certain seva in the past and then you try and walk away and you end up drifting away for some sort of reason. You might have been more connected when you was younger. But this isn't just in this life, because I can tell you stories about people that have done things in their past life. And then Guru Sahib Ji says, what's happened? Ankur. What does Ankur mean? Who can match the word Ankur and find what that translates to in the translations there? Which word is Ankur? Yes, perfect. It's sprouted. Where did that come from? Where's that voice? Just a little hand up there, then I can know where it's coming from. So it means sprouted. Sometimes, Sangat Ji, something doesn't sprout straight away. Sometimes we want the results straight away, but they can take time. Kaivri sama lagda hai. So I love telling this story because this person has shared their story online, and you can search it up and you can find their story online. So I'm going to share a little, just 2 minutes, go on a little tangent, little story about somebody that shared their story online, and you can search it up and you can listen to it yourselves. So the story is about Japjit Kaur. Some of you may have heard of her, from Belgium, and she tells a story that she came across Gurbani through going to a yoga class, but she was only exposed to the Mool Mantra. So unne keval Mool Mantra sunaya siga, jo vad to vad shayad unne vichon kei थोड़े जे जपजी साहब सुनिया होगा ਜਦੋਂ yoga class ਗਈ ਹੈ Belgium ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨੇ ਕਦੀ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਬਾਰੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਸੁਣਿਆ, but she'd never been exposed or heard about Sikhs. But ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਖਿੱਚ ਪਈ when she heard this Bani while she's doing her yoga, so she's listened to the Mool Mantra, then something starts to sprout. Purva Karam, something from your past, ਪਹਿਲੇ ਜਨਮਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਉਹ ਅੰਕੁਰਨਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, starts to sprout. And she then had a pull to go to Sri Darbar Sahib, to Sri Harmandir Sahib. And Sangji, and she tells a story, but when she reached Sri Harmandir Sahib, the Sham ਜਦੋਂ ਪਈ ਤਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਰਹਿਰਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਸੀਗੀ. So as the Rehra Sahib ji ki Bani's been sung and read, it was familiar to her. She's from a non-Sikh background, never associated with Sikhs other than her yoga class. Even they weren't really Sikhs as such, she's not heard Rahras before, she's only been exposed to Mool Mantra and some of Japji Sahib, and she finds herself reading along, she's reading along with Rahra Sahib. Lines that she's never heard before, and tears are just falling. She's never been to a Gurdwara Sahib before. Because things that we have done, even in our previous lives, or even in our early life, they're not going to go to waste. Sometimes we might drift, but we don't know. So when we are with our children, never underestimate the power of sitting down with them and doing Bani with them. Sitting down and telling them the stories of the Guru. Because sometimes somebody will say that, people contact me now, people will be talking to me, they'll book a session with me and they'll say that, you know what, 20 years ago I went to a Sikhi camp and I drifted. And now I'm going through some sort of hardship, and somehow or another I started searching up things about Gurbani and Sikhi. That means things don't go to waste. Purba karma ankar jab pargate, they start to come forward. Bahar nu auniyan cheezaं shuru ho jandiyan aya. And then Guru Sahib Ji says, Peteo purkh rasak bairagi. And then we start to meet Vaheguru. So Sangat Ji, so whatever you're doing today, it's not going to go to waste. You'll see the fruits of it in your life. And whatever you teach your kids about Sikhi and the Bani that you instill inside of them is never going to go to waste. They might have a little gap. Because there's a beautiful line, Sangat Ji, in Gurbani. I really think about this line for my own life. That, can everybody just make sure their phones are turned off? Or on silent at least. So Sangat Ji, I think about this line a lot in my life. And, you know, somehow or another, at some point in our lives, we might give our arm, we might give ourselves to Guru Nanak Dev Ji in some form of way. Where we say to Guru Sahib and we say to Sangat that, look, take me, here's my arm. And the way you might do that is by your connection through singing Kirtan or Gurbani or something. And what you're really doing is, you're saying to Guru Nanak Dev Ji, here, take my hand and take hold of it. There's a line in Gurbani where Guru Sahib Ji says that, Kar Geh, I'm going to say it really slowly because of Rajdeep. Kar Geh Lini Par Brahm Bahod Na Vichhadiyaho. So Kakka, Kar Gagga, Kar Geh Lini Lalla, Kar Geh Lini Par Brahm, and then Papa. Is that right? Right. Maybe I'm saying the line wrong. You're making me doubt myself. Kar Geh Lini Par Brahm Bahod Na Vichhadiyaho. No, I was alright. It's definitely Rajdeep, everyone. Definitely Rajdeep. This is such a powerful line, because if we really break this down, Kar is what here? Yes. So Kar is hands, and then Gehe is yes. So Gehe means to hold on to something really tight. Udda hi nahi mada je nahi kut ke fadna kisi cheez nu. Kar geh lini par brahm. So Sangat Ji, bahod na vichhadiyaho. Sometimes it might seem like we've disconnected and we've separated. But somehow or another, Guru Nanak, once you give your arm, Guru Nanak is always looking for ways to bring you back, even if you drift. Guru Nanak is always finding ways. Sometimes you might keep rejecting, but the Guru will never let go for lifetimes. And I've felt this in my life so many times where I've drifted, and somehow or another, through Sangat or something or some through some form of means, through dukh, through pain, suffering, or someone, and then the guru drags you back. And sometimes you have to, because we can be like children and brats, so the guru has to take us back, drag us a little bit. But don't ever think that the guru forgets us. We might forget the guru at times, but once we've given ourselves to the guru's not going to forget us, because ਉਹ ਘੁੱਟ ਕੇ ਫੜ ਕੇ ਰੱਖਦਾ ਆ. ਸੋ ਉਹ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਲੱਭਦਾ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਵਾਪਸ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਲਿਆਵਾਂ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਵਾਪਸ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਲਿਆਵਾਂ, how am I going to bring them back? And you've just got to open your eyes and you'll realize, when that certain Gursik turns up, ਉਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਨੇ ਹੀ ਸੀ ਭੇਜਿਆ, ਗੁਰੂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ, that the Guru's remembering me. ਕਰ ਗਏ ਲੀਨੀ ਪਾਰ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਬਹੁੜ ਨਾ ਵਿਛੜਿਆ. There's a beautiful line by Gurdas ji, where Bhai Gurdas ji says, how ਸਾਰੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਿਆ ਕਰੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਿਆ ਕਰੋ, you should do simran. But there's a line which is the other way round, where Bhai Gurdas ji says that Guru ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ, where Bhai Gurdas ji says Guru ਤੁਹਾਡਾ simran ਕਰਦਾ ਆ. And that line is where Bhai Gurdas ji says that simran ਕਰਦੇ ਕੂੰਜ ਵਾਂਗ. They say just like a crane bird, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੰਛੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਜਦੋਂ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, and ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਐਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ. ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਕੂੰਜ ਵਾਂਗ, the Guru remembers their Sikhs, just like those crane birds remember their offspring, those little birds and those chicks. But Sangat ji, sometimes we're not ready. We're saying, no, wait, I don't want to come yet. I don't want to come back yet. But the Guru will always be trying. Od lakhe alakhe. So Sangat ji, I just wanted to really reinforce that point of how powerful it is when you're planting these actions, these seeds of actions. Don't ever think they're going to go to waste. And don't ever think they're going to go to waste when you're passing them on. If you are somebody that gets involved in classes and teaches, or be around your children or somebody or another, or however or wherever, don't ever underestimate the power of it. Because when Kirpa Ram came back to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, there's a poet called Pat Chand who writes that Kirpa Ram said, he explained everything to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, that they're forcefully converting us. They are trying to bribe us, they try and give us money, and if we don't accept that way of leaving our faith, then they take more extreme measures. Then they're torturing our families, they're kidnapping our women. So as he's explaining all of this, Gobind Rai walks into the darbar where Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is sitting, 9 years old. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is attentively listening to the Pandit, to Kirpa Ram. And this poet Pat Chand said that ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਤਰਲਾ ਪਾਇਆ ਫਿਰ Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji ਦੇ ਅੱਗੇ. They really were suffering and they cried, and to say that what's going to happen about us now. And they said that they turned around and Kirpa Ram put his arm forward, like we just said, apni baah de deni Guru Nanak nu, sitting here and saying, Guru Sahib, look, I'm quite weak, but if you hold on to me, I know that I'm going to be okay. And that's what Kirpa Ram did. Kirpa Ram put his arm forward and he said, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬਾਹੇ ਅਸਾਡੀ ਪਕੜੀਏ Guru Har Gobind ke Chand. They said, hey Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, Paach Ji, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਬਾਹ ਪਕੜੋਗੇ? Will you take hold of our arm? We've come here, we've got, ਸਾਤੋਂ ਹੁਣ ਕੋਈ ਆਸਰਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਿਹਾ. And ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਅਸਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਵੀ ਐਵੇਂ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ. ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਹਾਰ ਕੇ, ਜਦੋਂ ਡਿੱਗ ਕੇ, ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਿਆਣਪ ਜਦੋਂ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ, but when we let go of our cleverness and we truly say that, just Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji ਨੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਆ, Now when we ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਅਸਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਰਲਾ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਰਾਹ ਨਾ ਰਹਿ ਜਾਵੇ and then we say that ਫਿਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਆਪਾਂ we can only do ਅਰਦਾਸ if we say that my strength isn't enough ਕਿ ਮੇਰੀ ਤਾਕਤ ਹੁਣ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਬਣਨਾ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਬਲ ਛੁੱਟ ਕਿਓ ਬੰਧਨ ਪਰੇ that I'm stuck ਮੈਂ ਬੰਧਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ I'm trapped meaning I haven't got the strength to get out of this situation whatever situation that may be in our lives the ardas asal vich ਏਦਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ this ardas this is how an ardas actually takes place when we say that bal chutkiyo bandhan pare kachu na hot upaye that I'm not able to do anything now then Guru Sahib ji go on to say that ਹੁਣ ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਅਬ ਓਟ ਹਰ now I need your support ਗੱਜ ਜੋ ਹੋ ਸਹਾਏ ਸੋ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਬਾਹੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਪਕੜੀਏ ਗੁਰੂ ਹਰਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਕੇ ਚਾਂਦ oh ਗੁਰੂ ਹਰਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਚਾਂਦ means the moon they're saying oh the moon oh that beautiful moon that reflects the light of Guru Hargobind Sahib ji will you take hold of our arm and support us and help us and ਉਦੋਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੁਣ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ the only way that you can be saved in this moment is if somebody gives their life it has to be a huge impact if somebody can go to Aurangzeb and show them that no matter what they do no matter what they try but that they're not going to be able to make them convert so Guru Tegh Bahadur ji said if somebody is to sacrifice their life and create this big impact but whoever does this has to be somebody that has a great impact in this world ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੋਈ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜੇ ਸੀਸ ਦੇ ਦੇਵੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਫੇਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਚ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ and Sangat ji in the Divan that we did last week we named this that sacrifice is love sometimes we say these things in an emotional way but if we go beyond the emotions and we really think about this and we really look at this that Guru Tegh Bahadur ji saying this but then Guru Gobind Rai 9 ਸਾਲ ਦੀ ਉਮਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਪਿਤਾ ਜੀ ਤਾਂ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਤਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਕੋਈ ਵੱਡਾ ਹੋ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਸੀਸ ਦੇਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਾਨ ਬਚਦੀ ਆ ਜੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਧਰਮ ਬਚਦਾ ਆ ਫਿਰ ਪਿਤਾ ਜੀ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਕਰਮ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਕੌਣ who else greater than you than Guru Tegh Bahadur ji Sangat ji and that in itself if we just stopped there if we just that's it for a moment like that is the Gurgaddi of Guru Gobind Singh ji because Guru Tegh Bahadur ji in that moment is showing everybody ਕਿ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ ਇਹ ਹੁਣ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰੀ ਸੰਭਾਲਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇਹ ਤਿਆਰ ਆ he's ready because that is it that is like what more is that what more can somebody do than that ਇੰਨੋ ਹੀ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ this is love if somebody is saying to their father to their guru you ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਓ ਤੁਸੀਂ go and give your life ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਜਾਨ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵਾਰ ਦਿਓ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਖਾਤਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਧਰਮ ਬਚੂਗਾ and if we go back to the Bachitra Natak that we was going through then Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pacha Ji talk about this themselves so if we go back to those lines where we started that Patna Shahar Bikhe Pavalayo and then we go on Guru Gobind Singh Ji then writes about this says Jab Ham Taram Karam Mo Aaye they said you know when that time came Guru Gobind Singh Ji said of me to then now take responsibility of this dharam and karam Guru Gobind Singh Ji says dev lok tab pita sidai they said my father then left this world and they said it's because then at that moment I was now ready to take this responsibility. And that responsibility was shown that only somebody that has such love for humanity can take on this responsibility. केवल जेड़ा ओ समय दिखावे जिहदे अंदर प्रेम होवे सारे मनुखताई वास्ते for everybody इन्हां नालों होर वड्डी गल की हो सकदी आ संगत जी we often talk about that we've got to do such and such for ourselves, for our community, for our panth. But Sangat ji, the biggest thing we can do for our communities is to see if we can bring this into our life, where you're thinking at that level for the sake of humanity and you're thinking about everybody. And you're thinking, well, it doesn't matter even if it is another faith. And somebody then has written, they said that Guru Tegh Bahadur ji said, कहंदे पुत्र कहंदे पर ताडे कहंदे सिर ऊपर फिर कहंदे पिता नहीं रहना. कहंदे but you won't end up having a father above your head if I go. कहंदे जे मैं गया कहंदे ताडे कोल पिता नहीं फिर रहना. पर गोबिंद राय जी कहंदे कहंदे मैं तो वो तो फिर एक ही आ ना. एक दे कोल पिता नहीं रहूगा जे तुसी जानने आ. कहंदे पर जे तुसी रहने आ तो कहंदे किन्ने हज़ारियां दे सिरां दे उपरों कहंदे उन्हां दा पिता चल जाना आ. They said, but if you stay, how many thousands of children are going to be fatherless? They said, so if you think about the deal, the actual profit of you going, Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, it's actually a no-brainer. For the sake of you're going to leave one child without a father, but you're going to save thousands. They said the maths is actually a no-brainer. And Sangat, that in itself is what you call prem. That is what you call love. Is when you're thinking on that level for the betterment of this world. And Sangat, I often say that we don't have to go far to start practicing this. Guru Gobind Singh Ji is thinking about sacrificing their father for the sake of another faith. But where do we start to try and bring this type of love into our lives? We can just start in our homes. I think that would be a decent place to start. Think about if we just started doing this at home. We just wanted the pala of others in our own household. And we just started thinking that we want to make this world into a better place. And we started wanting good for others that just live in our own homes. And it's often in our own homes that we find it most difficult to have patience with our apparent loved ones. The ones that we say that we love the most, we have the least patience for. It's a really strange and odd one, isn't it? How that works. We're talking about love at the level of Guru Gobind Singh Ji saying, Father, go. Dev lok tab pita sedai. Then my father left at that time when it was now I'm going to be taking this responsibility. So Sangat Ji, who does find it a little bit challenging and more difficult with the very people that we sometimes live with, to be patient with them and not get irritated with them? Who finds that a challenge sometimes? You put your hands up. And it's a difficult game, isn't it? But Sangat Ji, in the last month, I've been contemplating more on a quality that we don't often talk about. Because the Vidyalaya that we've got in Birmingham, I took a little book to read out to the students. And the students, they're all, the youngest being 17 and the oldest being 49. So that's the age group. And there's a book that I took, probably about 8 pages, I don't know, about 8-9 pages. It's mainly just artwork. And there's about 1 sentence on each page. And the book's called I Am Love. And what that book does is something so amazing. In that book it says that, it just says the simplicity of love. Because sometimes we make it so complex and so difficult and out of reach, and when we hear these stories, we find them difficult to relate back to our everyday lives. So Sangaji, in this book, I don't know if have any of you seen that book? Have you seen that book? It's just called I Am Love. And there's like a series of these books, and there's one called I Am Peace, and I can't remember who it's by, but you know, I can maybe share it with Rajdeep and he can let you know. I actually bought, after I shared it in the group at the Vidyalaya, they were trying to take it off me, but I couldn't give it to them because, you know, it was my cousin from Canada actually gave it to my kids. So I was like, to one of the 30-year-old students, I say, this is for Sundar, like for my 2-year-old. Let's see, you can't have this copy. But anyway, I've ordered about 5 of them now. So I'll give some of them out. But in there's some really simple things in there. It just says, love is. And one of the things it says is, love is understanding. Just these simple little sayings. Love is patient. And sometimes the word love in itself, it could be so big because it's an umbrella term, isn't it? Like Guru Gobind Singh is showing this at the age of 9. This, like, you can't get bigger than that. That is what is then passed down, even through, even if we just looked at it, even through their genes. That's what Baba Ajit Singh's got inside them. That's what Baba Jujhar Singh's got inside of them. Their father at 9 is saying, go, 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 father. Go and give your head. It's a no-brainer. You're going to save thousands. I'm just one. But that's been passed down. And then, so Sangaji, we got to be thinking about what are we passing down and what are we passing around. Because that's what Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji passed that on. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji passed on these things when they said, Bahein asadi pakadiye, Guru Har Gobind ke Chand. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji replied and says, Bahein Jina di pakadiye, Sir dije, Bahein na chodiye. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji said, well, you're saying to me, can you hold our arm? And Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji said, well, if you're asking me to hold onto your arm, I'll hold onto your arm, Bahein Jina di pakadiye, and then let me tell you what I'll do in return if I hold onto your arm. Sir dije, I'll give my head. Sir dije, Bahein na chodi, but I'm not going to let go of you. And it's really obvious because there's no other logic to explain why is this person in Darbar Sahib reading along with Rehra Sahib that has never heard these words. It's because the Guru did not let go of her. She's obviously been exposed to this Gurbani in her past lives. That's why Guru is saying, Purba karma ankur jab parkate petyo purk rasak bairagi. So Sangat Ji, this is what Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is passing on. Guru Gobind Rai is seeing that my father is turning around and saying to this Pandit that used to teach me when I was young, who planted that seed, look at how life works. Really think about what you are planting. The Mahabharata Jang happened because Draupadi made one comment to Duryodhan. She said that you're the son of somebody that is blind. Anne ka puttar anna hi reha. She said, the son of a blind king remains blind. And that fired him so much he couldn't let go of it. He felt that he had to take revenge. So that's why the Guru says, be conscious what is coming out of your mouth. What are you doing? Rakh, charan, tare, vichari. Guru Sahib is saying, take each step consciously in your life. What are you about to speak? Because each word is going to be accounted for. Lekhe bolan boliye, Sri Rag Guru Nanak Dev Ji says that each word that you speak is going to be accounted for. Lekhe bolan, bolana, lekhe khana khao. Don't think you can just eat something and you're not going to reap what's to come from eating that. Right? We can't escape what we're eating, can we? It's going to have an effect on our body. And the Guru is saying the words that you speak, you cannot escape them as well. So Sangat Ji, in that same way, this is what Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is passing down. Is that action saying, I'll give my head? And they gave their head. There's Gobind Rai showing them what love is, and that's been passed down to their children. So Sangat Ji, when we think about our lives, what are we passing down? What are we doing? What do we want to pass down? And I tell you, the interesting thing is that, especially when it comes to younger children, especially up to around about the age of 7, they're not only taking on what you're physically doing, they're absorbing your energy as well, because that's how nature has made them, because their nature thinks that this is what their subconscious mind needs to store, because that's what they're going to need to survive. So Sangat Ji, in that moment, when we're at home, go back to the simplicity that love is, to be more understanding. Because the word love alone is just too big. Break it down. Love is to be patient. And Sangat Ji, Gurbani talks about patience, but it's not something I hear about very often. When somebody's struggling and is a certain way, we are quick to say that person is irritating. We're not quick enough to say, let me see how I can be more patient. Because I'm the one that is getting irritated, instead of putting that on to them. Sangat Ji, where in Gurbani do you read every day where the Guru reminds us about focusing and building this quality of being more patient, with just generally being more patient? Where do you read that every day? Which Bani? I'll give you some clues. It's in Japji Sahib. I'll give you another clue. It's the last Pauri. So if everyone just starts saying at the last Pauri, and then we'll wrap it up on this. So if we all say it together, and then we'll stop when we get to the word patience. Is everybody ready? What's the last Pauri? The last Pauri of, not the Salok, the last Pauri. You can't spoil it. We have to let them. All right. Jat, Pahara, Tiraj, Sunyar. All right. So what's the word here? What's the word for patience here? Tiraj. Somebody who would actually class themselves as being quite patient? Ooh, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Interesting. He does look really patient, doesn't he? Just some people have just got it, haven't they? No, don't envy them, you know. But just do ardah, say, give me some of that, give me some of that. And that's one of the ways, isn't it, to do sangat, do more sangat of those type of people. And sometimes sit there and recognize the thing that we are lacking, and then do ardas for it. And then go a step further. For me, ardas means where you sit down, take out time every day, and actually envision you having that quality. That's part of doing your ardas for me. Ardas isn't passive. Ardas isn't like you just stand there and you do your thing. Can I have sad santokh de ataram? And then it's going to be more than that, man. You've got to really take time out and meditate on if you truly want that. Like, how bad do you want that? Like, so next time, before you say, so look, they'd be sitting here. I'm not speaking to you about things that we don't try and put into practice in our home. Plenty of challenges, fall over plenty of times. Yeah. We're nowhere near perfect. But Thegbi, what do I say when somebody says, oh, you're being irritating? What do I say? What do I say? Say it louder. Yeah, take responsibility because the annoyance is inside of you first. We'll deal with their actions in a minute. We're not ignoring the other person's actions, but first just take responsibility in the way you are speaking. Instead of saying they are irritating, say that I just got irritated. Take responsibility of being irritated. Just these little switches. Yeah. And they're like, oh, do we have to do it every time? Do we have to do it every time? Every time. Yeah. And that's it. That includes my wife and that includes me. But eventually you become conscious and you don't ignore the other person's actions because it might need dealing with. You might need to sit down, have the conversation and do whatever you need to do. But if you are getting irritated, that's something that's happening inside of you that you need to take responsibility of and saying, I am getting irritated. So that's where my patience runs out. That doesn't mean you ignore the situation. But spirituality and getting to Waheguru is all about taking responsibility of my inside, of what is going on inside a day. So we don't ignore situations, we don't make it okay if somebody's being really silly, but we say that you've got to take responsibility of your action as well, because you're going to end up getting the fruits of that. Because if you're getting now irritated, you're going to get the fruits for getting irritated, because you can't escape that. So one thing I think we sometimes we lack, and that's bantik as well. We're often, it's easier to just bring somebody down instead of having patience to take that time to understand someone at a deeper level. I always say to my children, look at everybody as a story. Don't ever take somebody for just that momentarily current action. Everybody's a storybook. And most people, to live unconsciously means you're living out of your story. That's what it means to live unconsciously. Being on this path means that I'm trying to wake up and start living consciously and not allowing my life story to determine my destiny. That's why Guru Sahib Ji say that Kach bigryo nahin ajho jag. Look, Guru Sahib say to us, wake up means that you're just living out your story. This thing jag. This whole process is about waking up. That's why Guruji says most of us are doing what? Sutya ran vihani. Our life is being passed whilst being asleep to our karma, to our life story. But when you understand that people are just acting out of their story, it helps us to be more understanding and to be more patient. Yeah? So Sangatji, you've got to actively, you know why people say that I've been doing, some people say, oh, but such and such, they've been doing Path and reading Gurbani for 15 years and they're still the same. It's because they didn't take an active time consciously to focus on and do ardas on how they would like to become. So you have to do that as an actual practice. every day. Every day you've got to take time out to focus on the qualities that you do want to bring into your life, and you've got to then be able to see those inside, and then you'll start to see them turn up in your life. And slowly, eventually then you don't have to say it to each other. They'll say it back to you themselves. I know the irritations inside of me. You know, and they say it back to you, and they'll say, okay. I know I have to take responsibility of that. I'm going to work on it. So if we're going to take anything away today, just think about, what was it? How is it that things are passed on and things don't go to waste? So Guru Gobind Singh Ji has passed that on. And I just think, just stopping there, that Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, "Haan Pitaji, tusi jao." Just stop there for a moment and reflect on that, because that itself is so deep, that love for humanity. Just that love for humanity. Just let that sit in. That how profound that love is. So Sangat Ji, we'll wrap it up on that. And some of you will be aware of the organization that Rajdeep mentioned earlier, Journey of Compassion. Those of you that aren't, we're on the social media platforms, we're on Instagram, so you can follow us there and look at the work that we do. So a lot of the work that we do is based on mental well-being, supporting people, predominantly within our Sikh community and also other communities as well. You'll be surprised with how many people have got struggles in their life